Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the last Risk and Assurance meeting for the triennium. We'll just start with karakia. Whakatakatahau ki te uru, whakatakatahau ki te tonga, kia mākinikena ki uta, ki mātātara ki tai. E hi ake ana te atakura, he tio, he hoka, he hauhu, tihei, Māori ora. Yes, hello everybody, and we've got a few members online today. We've got the chair, Stuart Henderson. Good morning, Stuart. And Stuart might have some technology issues during the session, so just be aware of that. We've got Mayor Vic DeLuca, and then we've got member Lucioli online and member Puller online. We've got some staff members and Councillor Dennis in attendance as an observer only, and then we've got staff around the table, members of the public. Just a few notices. First of all, Counselling and Standing Committee members are live streamed on the Council's website and the YouTube channel. Public gallery attendees' presence implies your consent to being broadcast. Further information about live streaming protocols can be found on the website. Health and safety. In case of an emergency, follow the building wardens to the nearest exit. The meeting point is across the road at Peace Park. Bathroom facilities are located opposite the Chambers foyer entrance. And I'm advising that the meeting and of the risk and assurance action items will be tabled and discussed during the confirmation of the minutes section. I'd also like to, first of all, welcome our interim CFO, Paul Davidson. Welcome, Paul. Very happy to have you here. And we've also got a project lead for finance team, Caron Ashcroft, sitting in the room as well. Welcome to you both. Do we have any apologies? We do not. And then we've got any acknowledgements and tributes. Any of the members? No, thank you. Any conflicts of interest to declare from today's agenda? No, and we have no public.
Sorry, Leslie, I do, but it's for the public excluded, so I'll raise it at that point.
Oh, thank you very much, Petra. It was quite hard to see you on that side. Yeah. Right, so we'll move to page 10 of the agenda, and with confirmation of previous minutes. Actually, before we go there, Stuart, as the chair, although you're not standing in as chair today, do you have any comments that you'd like to make before we move into the minutes?
Thank you, Leslie. Yes, I think I'd like to acknowledge this committee and those of you on the committee, given that it is our last one of the triennium. It's been, we're going to be losing a couple of people, we know, in terms of retirement. John Puller, thank you very, very much indeed. And I think that from my perspective, the committee has been a real success in terms of the way that the members have contributed. I've been really happy about chairing this committee. I won't know if I will be back, as we're all in that position of uncertainty coming up to the election, but I just want to wish everybody very, very well on that. And Petra, I've really appreciated your specific skill set in regards to that insurance and legal elements. I think it's worked really, really well. It's just my thanks to everybody, please.
Thanks very much, Stuart, and I'm sure we might have a few comments to say at the end of the meeting. So we're on page 11 of the agenda for the confirmation of the meeting minutes for the Extraordinary Council of 9th of April 2025 and the Ordinary Council meeting of the 26th of June 2025. A mover, Councillor Wolf James, Councillor O'Brien seconded. Any discussion or actions from those minutes? If not, all those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. We'll also move to extended minutes. Oh, we're doing the actions. Okay. Page. Right, so if we can just also now move back to page 10. I don't have it on mine. Okay, look. Holidays. Have I got a different agenda?
We always send you a different agenda. So this happens.
All right.
They're giving you my agenda. Sorry.
So if we just have a look at the actions from the previous meeting, and go for that one. Yeah. Beg your pardon, people. And so we've got further information about the ERP. I just have to apologise. I've pulled up the wrong agenda.
Have you got the wrong agenda?
I want a district council agenda. Right, if we just have a look at the actions the last time, we had further information about the ERP, and we've got more information coming. Do we need to have you give us any verbal update on that at the moment, Honi?
So is that the Enterprise Risk 6, is that what we're referring to? Yeah, so that relates to the cybersecurity audit, and from what I understand, Brian Elliott and his team are still reviewing that, and they'll come back to us and to council once that's done.
Great.
We're having technical difficulty here.
Should we just wait for you to...
Just give me a moment.
This could be front page of the Beacon on Friday.
There. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I've got you. Thank you, Steve.
You're right.
I'm still having technical difficulties. Right, gotcha. Honi, can I ask you to please repeat that again, what you just said?
No worries. So the Enterprise Risk 6 refers to our cybersecurity audit that was completed, and Brian Elliott and his team are currently reviewing, and will come back to exec for comments and then on to council as well. Would you like me to run through
Yes,
them
please,
all?
thank you.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. Thank you.
And obviously the airport annual report, Paul Davidson might better add some more, but our external consultant, Carl Gosby, is making progress on his reports. He seems to be in frequent contact with Anton, and is dealing with him directly as opposed to the technical team to try and get this moving, but we are seeing progress.
Thank you. Paul, have you got a comment?
Sorry, just working out this. Just to add a little bit. So my comments with Carl is that he's completed the first stage of the review, which then now needs audit to confirm, and then things will flow from there. So that's where the conversation is at the moment, is a conversation with Anton as to how that will progress, as Hone refers to as whether it needs to go to technical or not. To be honest, there is potential risk it will need to go to technical because it hasn't been the time frame involved. So just working that through.
No red flags?
There are no red flags. It's largely within the equity component of the account. So there's no overall profit and loss impact or anything like that. It's
right. Really just super. Thank you, Stuart. Got a comment?
It's just in that this is very much around the first of the annual reports that we need to get finalised and audited, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the 2022.
Are you asking that of Honi?
I'm just asking that of Honi and of David.
Paul.
Because once this is complete, there's then going to be the next phase of getting the rest of the annual reports audited, and that will be through a new auditor. So I think I was just wondering if you could perhaps update this committee just on a kind of an estimated timeline on what you think that how that might play out. Is Carl, I believe, is going to be, once he's knocked this first one off, which is the crucial one to have done with Audit New Zealand, we'll then be having to get the rest of the annual reports that have yet to be audited, done by the new auditor. So perhaps just some comment on that, please.
Yep, thanks, Stu. From what I understand, he is going through the 2019 and 20 reports to begin with. Yes, and then following the closing of that, we'll get formal sign-off on the annual report, the Mayor and Chief Executive, and he's also progressing in parallel the finalisation of the 2020, 2021 to 24 and 25 financial years, and as you pointed out, that's with a different financial auditor as well. And in terms of a timeline, I wouldn't want to put a timeline on it, but Carl is making progress. Stop there.
And sorry, and just one last final question. Am I right in assuming that, notwithstanding that this 2021 annual report becomes done and dusted with audit and then allows us to invoice the government in relation to Ministry of Transport on outstanding contributions, shall we say, that will only relate to those that have been verified by that audited. So I'm thinking, in terms of the amount that we've got that's accumulated, it's been quite a significant amount, and certainly by the chair, Leslie has brought this up on many occasions. What's the what is roughly the amount that we're going to be able to claw back from just this first annual report audit verification?
I'll have to check that total and come back to you.
That would be really great. Thanks very much, Honey.
Thanks, Stu. And the third item on the Civic Centre building certification, I think this was raised at the last committee, David, and you responded on that.
Yeah, there's actually no further update on this one. I think it does seem to be dragging though, so I think I'll perhaps just work with Honey from a community facilities point of view and a building inspection team to see if we can get it nailed.
Okay, but we still have no insurance implications.
No, we still have a certificate of public use in terms of the
That's
use
right.
of this building, so that covers us.
So if we burn down overnight, our insurance is still all good.
I'm no insurance expert, but we've got a CPU.
Yeah. Is it normal for a building code of compliance to take so long post the build?
Do you want to? I was going to say whether Lisa Choki, our manager of building, is probably
We've
best
just
to
got
answer.
Lisa Tiorki, manager of building, coming to the table. What do you know, Lisa?
Kia ora koutou. It's not unusual for a build, even a residential build, to exceed the 2-year timeframe for us to make a code compliance decision. Commercial buildings do tend, especially I guess a build of this size, like I said, it's not unusual. There is just, if I can add a bit more detail, I believe that we're just waiting on some resolution of the aircon system before we're in the position to be able to issue the code of compliance and the compliance schedule for the building. But yeah, it's covered at the moment under a certificate for public use.
All right. Thank you very much, Lisa. And then, Lainey, any further comments on emergency management powers and the digital connectivity, or just as we read?
I'll just repeat myself from the last committee to say that there'll be a full briefing coming for the new council on that emergency risk and your liability. So just deferring it until after the election.
After the election. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lainey. We accepted those, haven't we? Right, so we'll now move to page 11 of the agenda with the risk and assurance update report, and we'll hand back to Honey. Thank you. Take us through it.
Tēnā tātou. So I'll take the report and the appendices as read, but just from a high level, we do have Julie and Ingrid on site here to answer any questions that you have. There was an intent to bring the sensitive expenditure policy to this committee, but we're working on that with the policy team, and that will go into the next sort of committee meeting in the new triennium. The risk register is attached, and as noted at the last committee meeting with the enterprise risk update, with the new council and the new triennium, we'll be going through the risk categories, framework, risk appetite with them. And as you can see, we've got the credit ratings and treasury update as well. So we're open to any questions.
Stuart, did you have any questions?
Yes, thanks very much. And Honey, you nailed the one, my first question, which was just going to be on 3.3, which is page 13, where you're talking about the a full risk management induction program. And I just made a note here that in that does include a really good comprehensive section on risk appetite for the new council, because that will definitely shape the way that this risk register is going to look, and priorities attached to it. On page 13 with the 3.5 Treasury update, and I know that there'll be some further things within Treasury, but I just had a couple of questions for clarification. The reference to the LGFA 5 million, I take it that's a facility and it will be a committed facility. So it will be added to the ANZ facility in terms of liquidity. And I was wondering if you could please let us know the sort of maturity that you're considering for that LGFA committed standby line, so that we understand what that's going to mean to our liquidity and access, committed access to readies when we need them. Perhaps there might be an answer for that, Paul?
We've got Paul and Julie
So
going to respond. Yep.
and thank you for the question, Stu, and Julie will be able to respond to that.
Yeah, it's a standby facility.
Yep.
It's for short-term loans of 30 to 180 days, and it's loans can be picked up with a minimum of $1 million and then multiples of 500,000 thereafter. It doesn't have a termination date as such. The termination is on notice, so council have to give 3 months' notice. LGFA would have to give 15 months' notice to terminate the agreement.
That's the $1 million question. Thank you. 15 months is the LGFA's notice period. So from our perspective, we have commitment from the LGFA to provide that facility total, and they cannot, and that's a rolling 15 months, is it, Julie?
Yes, yeah, until a termination notice is served.
That's fantastic. So that is the maturity date that we should put, and that should be a continued 15-month. That's really important because it means that this council has absolute certainty of being able to access that money, and there's effectively a 15-month notice period to the council from LGFA. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. If it's all right, I've just got a couple more. 3.5.1. Can I just the where we say the balance of the interchangeable facility agreement, and we look at this total, I mean, that 177.8, that is really today's snapshot of what our current external debt is, isn't it? That's our drawn debt, not our capacity.
Oh, that's right. That's the drawn net debt, yes.
So, yeah, I was wondering if we could just, instead of saying the balance of the interchangeable facility, if we could just say that, state that our current drawn debt is, our current drawn net debt is 177.8. It just nails it quite a little bit more clearly. Thanks very much. I had to go in and read a bit further in the appendices to get there. That's all on this particular section. Thanks.
Thank you, Stuart, for those questions. I've just got a general question on page 14. I always like to see green ticks, and I understand, that we're not exceeding any of our maximum limits, and we might have answered this perhaps in one of the previous meetings, but are we at any risk of those green ticks moving into red ticks in the next couple of years of the long-term plan? I don't know if that's able to be answered here now.
Yeah, I can answer that in terms of, I've looked at in terms of the current annual plan, those, particularly the one that's close to the limit does actually improve, so that net interest to rates income on the annual plan is circa 12%, so it's actually heading the right way. We are in a lower interest rate environment, so in terms of is there risk in the future, the answer is yes on that limit, but noting that the LGFA limit is significantly higher than what the WDC limit is as well. So that could, I would suggest that would be a conversation into the next financial strategy, is where we want to set those limits and based on what debt and capital program forecasting is going forward.
Is it a little bit like, just to simplify it, like you have a limit on your credit card for $10,000 and then they give you another limit of $5,000, but you didn't even ask for it, but it's there if you need it? Is that kind of how LGFA is, and the government are tracking with allowing councils to increase their debt?
The debt is set at a balance sheet limit, and then the limits are set at the ability to actually repay that debt effectively. So they are, relative conservative in terms of what those limits are set. I think the big conversation comes about as the more debt you have, the more impost is on ratepayer effectively to repay that debt. So what is the return on that investment, and does that justify that level of debt? And that will be the conversation moving into the upcoming annual plan and long-term plans as to where that sits. So there's plenty of debt available. Question is debt comes at a cost. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Stuart.
Thank you. Look, on this, I spoke to Paul about this yesterday, and I know that this is going to be part of the new council's sort of orientation around strategy. But if you look at that, the one that's the prime concern to me is the fact that the Whakatane District Council's own policy limit in relation to our ability to service our debt, which is the net interest expense of external borrowing not to exceed 15% of annual rates income, that is very tight. That will and is likely to be exceeded in the course of the next 6 to 12 months if this council increases its debt without any shift and change to the budget annual rates income. But that is a council's policy, and that will be something that you will be all having put in front of you and discussed by the management team in terms of the new council and the new traineum. So that's a heads up for you. But just be comforted that the LGFA's 30% has been structured to be, it's very much around what does a good AA rated council look like? And those limits from LGFA are some idea of what the market and LGFA in itself and its own policies considered to be good thresholds. So you do have a very tight one here. It was imposed by yourselves to keep things tight in relation to your ability to service debt. I just wanted to make that one clear, and that is the one that you've got the most exposure to in potentially breaching. And if I might go to page 15, 3.5.2. No, I've already discussed that one, which is the LGFA. Oh yes, page 15. We're under 3.5.2.3 interest rate risk management. I note that our fixed, we say here that our weighted average fixed rate of interest is 3.88%. Now I did ask, and I gave you a heads up, Paul, on this. I imagine that is only relating to our fixed rate debt, and that also includes margin. And could you tell us what our weighted average rate of interest on our floating rate debt is, please? And what the weighted average of the total is?
We've just got Julie responding to that, Stuart.
Thank you.
I don't have the floating average of the overall weighted average of debt is 4.33. It's what we've put in at 30th of June and note 20 of the annual report. I'd need to get back to you on floating alone. Yeah.
I'm just for future reference, please. Could we have three totals there? Could we have the composition of our fixed rate portfolio, the composition of our floating rate debt portfolio, and then the weighted average of the total as a snapshot for this committee? That would be really helpful and very, very useful information to know, because we're only really getting half the story, not even that. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. John, you've got a question?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just following on from Stuart's theme there, the debt's swamping us really, and I just wondered if anybody had a big picture view of where that's all going to go, and would it ever likely to be called up, which would kick us for tax relief? Thank you.
In terms of big picture, that will certainly come through in terms of your long-term plan. And apologies, I haven't had a chance over the last week to have a good look at where that is forecast. But in terms of the risk of it being called up, you're well within your borrowing limits, so it would be very, very unlikely that would occur. The process effectively for that to happen is you would need to breach your borrowing limits with the LGFA. Not the self-imposed ones, but the borrowing limits of LGFA. In the event that happened, they would provide you with 1 month notice effectively to actually correct that before you would even go nearer any sort of action that they would take. So it's never happened in New Zealand. I won't be sitting here if it happens, because that is not where we'll go.
Thank you, Paul.
That's a great answer. Thanks, Paul.
Right, do we have any other questions from the report and or the appendices? Only comment I'd like to make about Appendix 1 with the risk management report is it's just looking and reading really well. You know, it isolates the concerns, what we are doing and what we are going to do. So well done to the team for that. So if there's no further questions, I have a mover to accept the report. Thank you, Councillor James. Thank you, Stuart, as the seconder. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Right, that moves us to page... Now we're moving into... Excluded. Yes. Oh, apologies, folks. The run sheet is missed something out.
No, we're going now to internal and external audit, page 102 of the agenda.
Right, we're now going to page 102 of the agenda, internal and external audit recommendations. And we have Ingrid and Honi to bring us through this. Thank you.
Thank you. Tēnā tātou. This is the second time that we've brought this update to the committee, and I think it shows council's commitment to good governance. Ingrid has done a great job since the last committee meeting in bringing all GMs along in a journey, and I can say that we have fully bought in to this process. I'll take the report as read. As you can see, there are still 92 recommendations. At the last meeting, you approved 20 as completed, and today we're asking for 13 marked as completed to be approved. And we can open for questions.
Any questions from members? Stuart, John, Victor, you're all okay? Stuart?
Oh, look, I'm sorry, Victor.
No, I've had computer problems. I've tried 2 devices. I'm now on my 3rd. So finally I've got ears. Thanks.
Welcome. Have you got a question, Victor?
No, I was just letting you know.
All right. Thank you. Stuart?
Look, Honna and Ingrid, this has been, I've been really chuffed with what I see. It was exactly what the doctor ordered, and I really like to compliment you on an excellent report. I really like the way that you've coded it back to our risk categories. It gives us a much better intuitive sense of where these sit, and an ability to understand their prioritisation and the way that you link that. And I'm sure that you'll be linking that back to the review of the enterprise risk register and risk appetite with council in the new traineum. So really, this is probably one of the best I've seen. I think you folk have really done a great job of nailing the way that this report can be shaped and look for future reference. May I just make one recommendation, and that is on 4, where you look at the completed recommendations. Can you just also colour code those to the reference of the risk as well? It just, I find that really helpful, that when I'm looking at the financial, or I'm looking at legal and compliance, that I'm seeing what those are, and if you could just continue with that excellent work, and in terms of the appendice, that would be fantastic for the future.
Noted. Thanks, Stu.
Thank you.
Right, and I just have one other general question. So what is it a MyBuy or MIBI financial planning tool? MyBuy, is it?
MyBI.
MyBI. Is that a part of the new ERP system that's just into the finance system?
We want to get rid of.
Oh, okay.
The BI stands for Business Intelligence. I'm not sure what the MI is.
It's an IBM product. We've had it for years, and I mean, we work with it, don't we, Julie?
No, that's fine. It was just a general one. I was just thinking I hadn't seen it before. Yeah. Thank you. No further questions from any members online or in the room? We'll just go to what page is the recommendation on? 102. Everyone's happy that we'll receive all of those recommendations as one? All those?
Yes.
Oh, I'm happy to move. we have a seconder?
Yes.
The Councillor O'Brien. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you.
Mm.
Good work, and I always
Yeah,
like the
really
graphs and the colour codings and the heat maps. Nice work, Ingrid. Now we move to. We just have to. We do have a few more technical issues that we just have a few moments of patience. Okay. All right. Thank you for those that are in the room. We're now going to have a resolution to exclude the public. I'll call for a mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor O'Brien, Councillor James. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. And we're now moving into public excluded, and we'll have a short adjournment to sort the technology. So just be patient, Stuart, and those online. Thank you.
Thank you.
to have a moment's pause to have a think about the nice things that we're going to say to each other as we conclude the meeting before we have. Stuart and Petra, really just as the deputy of the committee and on behalf of all the councillors, the value that you two have brought to this committee from where we started 3 years ago to where we are today, just patting everybody on the back with the staff and management of our risk profile and reporting systems and monitoring. Like, just congratulations and thank you very much. We don't know what's going to be happening next, but no doubt we'll be in contact with everybody again. An opportunity, Petra, for you first to give a comment, and then Stu to wrap us all up as the chair.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Look, I've really appreciated the last few years on the committee, and as you say, it's the progress that we've made over those 3 years towards a really robust risk management process is amazing, and all credit to the staff for running with all of our suggestions and questions and awkward things that we've raised. The reports that are now being produced are really in such an improved format, and so really I'd like to express my thanks to to all the staff for the work that they've put into that. So thank you.
Thank you, Petra. And before we go to Stuart, I should just give other members any opportunity. John, Wilson, Victor, or Tu, any further comments?
Yeah, no, I'd like to thank both of you. I mean, you've brought some valuable competencies and knowledge to the table in the finance and insurance area, and that's really useful. So thanks very much for your input over the course of the term. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Victor.
Thank you, Victor. Wilson?
Yeah, and I mean, my sentiments are similar to the staff and Petra and Stuart, everyone involved. We've certainly come a long way in the last 3 years, which is great to see, and it gives me a lot more confidence in the running of the whole operation. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Wilson. All right, John, some comments from you?
Thanks, Madam Chair. We've really worked as a team over this time, and the results have come out of that. So I've certainly appreciated and learned a lot of things as well. So thanks for that.
Thank you, John. And Stu, we'll come to you for your final words.
Thanks, everybody. Look, it really has been my privilege and to be chair of this committee and to have the connectivity with Whakatane District Council over the last 3+ years, I think. Certainly, kicked off with COVID as being the centrepiece, and I've been really impressed with the collegiality of this committee and actually with the council as a whole. I think I think councillors, mayor, deputy mayor, you've all got good hearts, and you're genuinely looking to do the right thing by this community. I really respected that, and I've really enjoyed the robust questioning, the way that people have been able to open up and really talk without process too much getting in the way. I'll give you my apology that I am a slightly different chair to what most people might expect. I really like to hear what people have to say. I like people to speak their minds on topic, obviously, but I felt we got that, and I feel that everybody's had a good chance to be able to contribute. So I'd really like to thank Susan for taking care of me over this period. I've been a slightly different beast, I think, to try and manage. Thank you for your patience, Susan, and for your great advice. Steve and the management team, really, you guys have had an extraordinarily difficult time of it for the last 4 years. The capacity issues, the institutional knowledge disappearing when you really need it the most, and I think you've done a really great job. So just my thanks to everybody, and look, I would love to be back with you again, but we'll all see what happens with the new triennium and with the new potential new look council.
Right, thank you so much, Stuart, and it's been a real pleasure to be part of this committee. I've really enjoyed it myself, and I don't want to call myself nosy, I prefer to use the word curious about all the machinery and how it all works, so I've just really enjoyed it. I've got one last little piece of business before I close with karakia, and I did not restate the resolutions to go back, and thank you, Susan, so I'll just do that now. Number one, that the Risk and Assurance Committee received the Chief Executive Report update, and that the Risk and Assurance Committee confirms the report be released to the public on the Chief Executive's approval, and that for the Legal Proceedings Report, that the Risk and Assurance Committee received the Legal Proceedings Update Report September 2025, and that the Risk and Assurance Committee confirmed the report is to remain in public excluded. And our thanks to you as well, Susan. I think you've actually corralled us all very nicely and professionally. Okay, kia karakia whakamutinga ka whakariria te tapu, kia wātia ai te ara, kia tura ki whakataka ai, kia tura ki whakataka ai, haumi e, hui e, tai kia. Thank you, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
luck,
Thanks, everyone. See you.
Good luck for everybody. Cheers.